Going good, good, good.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant. Well, the situation at hand that happened, it was something routine. I was getting ready to cook. Something so simple in the pot just caught fire, a little small amount of grease, and it took about 30 seconds from the time that I noticed that the pot was on fire to the time that I burned my feet. Happened. I just, the whole thing kind of went up in flames. Was looking for a fire extinguisher. Kids were crying. Smoke detectors going off. So your instincts kick in. All right, let me get this out of here. Just since I couldn't find it, tried to take it out, burn my face, and I dropped it once it burned my face. I didn't even notice my feet were burned at first because my shorts, I had on a pair of shorts, they were caught on fire, so I was just putting the fire out. Looked around, no fire on the ground and stuff, so it was kind of crazy because anybody know anything about grease fires, they don't just go out and you can't throw water on it. So, but I do recall, as I would drop the pot, I felt a gush of wind, blow on me. So it was nobody but God. I mean, I think in my mind that, I had to go through this for something. And I met some people and I had some conversations with people that I wouldn't have had I not, burned my feet or sustained any of these injuries. And I got to, talk to them about, my faith and what I believe in, and just them seeing me go through my process, it opened their eyes to, to choose faith, over just themselves. And I think that was the ultimate goal for me to go through that. And of course, I'm still healing from it. The skin is healed, but the skin is just new. It's just really soft. And I have no problems, muscular or anything like that, just a little bit with the nerve endings where, sitting up here, so if you notice me moving a little bit, it's just because when I sit in this area for a long time, gravity goes down. So the nerve endings are still kind of sensitive on my feet, so it kind of feel like my feet are, tingling just a little bit. So once I stand up and walk around, it goes away instantly. So nothing that drastic.
You're talking about how you feel like this is something maybe you were meant to go through. In the moment, I mean, you were coming off probably your best camp. Mm-hmm. You were a starter. I'm guessing it took you a little while to get to that headspace where, okay, maybe I was meant to go through this, because I'm guessing there was probably some disappointment.
For me individually, I have high hopes. I'm sure everybody else did as far as what I had put on tape. But God works in mysterious ways. As I've stated and as I always stated, I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. And I think that in everything that I go through, I'm meant to go through it. And it's not just about, it was a freak accident or a mistake. I think that I was meant to go through that situation for somebody else to see me and to see how I can handle an adverse situation and see how I respond. Because it's not to say that when I went through, I didn't have my doubts or my faith didn't shrink. Oh, it did. I questioned God a lot. I was like, just why? Well, just give me the signs and allow me to see what it is that you want me to see from this situation. What am I supposed to learn from this? And through that, and I think that's what it was. I was supposed to be just a beacon of light, just to continue to show people what it is to stand strong in your faith, no matter what the situation looked like. Because in the blink of an eye, everything could be gone like that. And, it's up to you how you choose to handle it. You can choose to, go in that dark hole and stay there, or you can choose to climb up out of it. And yes, I did go through that dark hole, and I just thank God that, I relied on what I always rely on, and that's my faith. And just for, as far as giving any credit to anyone, I want to just thank my wife just publicly. My wife was there from the time that it happened all the way up until this point. And my wife's 7.5 weeks pregnant. So she had to, take a lot on as far as with helping me change my my wounds and clean them. And she went through hell because like I said, I went in that dark space, and it wasn't fun. The first week, the first picture that I posted, it didn't look too gruesome. But if you go back to a more recent post that she posted, you can see where I went. I went to a very, very dark place. It was times where I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of the bed to pee, and she had to essentially lift me up out of the bed and get me to the bathroom just so I can use the bathroom. I had to be totally dependent on her. And there was times where the doctors were telling me, hey, take these meds and it'll help take the pain away, to clean your wounds. But pain wasn't helping, and my wife had to clean that for me. And of course, she caught a little bit of the flack of just what it is to go through pain. And she endured a lot, you know, and I just want to thank her and just tell her I love her. And I'm extremely appreciative because I wouldn't have made it throughout that situation without her, because she was just, bluntly as I can put it, she was on my ass. Like, there was times where I didn't want to clean my feet because it hurt to touch it. And she was just like, come on, we got to go through this. And my friend sent me this song called A Million Miracles by Maverick City. And every day from the time that it happened until now, I play that song almost refusively, like nonstop. And it's just, you know, a million little miracles. Like, and 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't even count them all. Like, you go through so much little stuff and you don't notice, you know, just how short of a time, like, things can change. And from having to go through, like, I couldn't play with my kids the way that I want to. And I'm a dad. I'm not just a football player. No, I'm a dad. I go home, I play with my kids after I leave here, and I'm dad. And I couldn't play with my kids, like, and she, you know, she was just talking me through that and just get me through, like, nah, everything's gonna be all right, you know. And especially after the doctors, you know, being in the burn unit, they were like, hey, this situation, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 months for people to heal. And for me to hear that after coming off of, you know, the off season that I was having, it was a lot. It was a lot. And, you know, but my wife, she stayed fast, she stayed firm, and she kept encouraging me every day through it. Like, we're going to get through this, yeah. We're going to get through it. It's just a little bit of encouragement, words here and there, like, just continue to help get me over the curve. And I'm here today, man. I'm back playing. I'm feeling good, and I'm just thankful. So I have a lot of gratitude, you know, for anybody that has ever gone through something like this and getting another opportunity to reestablish themselves and what it is that they're doing. And so I'm thankful for just to be back in the game.
So what was it like to finally get back on the field then for you?
It was overwhelming. Like, of course, I was going through a lot of emotions and just trying to stay under control and trying to not to get too high. But as soon as I stepped out on that field, it just all just oozed out. And just going through my mind right now, like, I'm just thankful. I just have a lot of gratitude. Like I said, like, I was in a very, very, very dark place. And my wife really helped me to pour through. And I'm just thankful, man, to just get back. Like, it could have been worse. Like, my family could have got hurt from that situation, you know what I mean? And for me to just sustain these little bit of injuries, I call it a little bit now because I made it through it. But just that little bit, you know, it could have been way worse. I could have lost one of my kids. I could have lost my wife. Like, and I definitely wouldn't have been a player in football. I wouldn't care anything about a football then. And just for him to allow me to take this on and get through it, I'm thankful for it, because had it been my wife or kids, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know how I would have, you know, how that would have impacted me.
What was the pain like?
It's something that I really can't explain. Like, I've had surgery, you know, I strained hamstrings, but it was nothing like it. I never really cried for the pain, though. It wasn't the pain part as far as that got to me mentally. It was just me being in that place that I was at and not knowing, you know, you hurt a hamstring, you know, 2-3 weeks, you'll be all right, fine, or you can even play through it. But when something happened to your feet and they not able to really give you a full timeline, you can't really understand. Like, I'm not used to that. And so I was simply had to just legit rely on God, and I couldn't do anything about it. It was just about time, and it was like, man, I don't know where I'm at. Like, and that what put me down in that hole, the unknown. Like, and so, but the pain, it was bad, but it was bearable. You know what I mean? I got through it, but I wouldn't wish it on nobody. I wouldn't wish it on nobody.
What's your wife's name?
Tiara Hamilton.
Can you spell it?
Tiara.
And how many kids do you have now?
I have two. I have 2 little girls, Aubrey and Olivia, 5 and 2. Those are my princesses, my queens. And they take care of Daddy too. They took care of Daddy, you know, and they went through some trauma too. You know, of course, they never see Dad. You know, they never saw me cry. They had never seen me cry, but they heard me scream as far as from when I burnt myself. So that messed them up. So just being in the kitchen alone, like, they kind of cautious when they come around, like, you okay? But my youngest daughter, I think she's the one that got everybody to know what happened to me, because every day she went to school, she was like, my daddy got burned. My daddy got burned. My daddy got burned. But he's okay. My daddy got burned. And so they would go out and they'd be like, is your husband okay? Because Olivia keeps saying your daddy got burned. And it's just like, no, he's all right. Until we finally just like, let's go ahead and just put it out there and let everybody know when we had to address it.
You said your wife was... The way you're talking, it sounds like, is this an experience that maybe something you can, for other people who go through something like this, that this is something you want to share your story of inspiration?
Oh, most definitely. Me and my wife, we took on the situation at hand and just said, we're going to document everything, just so we can kind of, give what it looks like as far as each and every different step and phase. So we've been taking a ton of pictures and video documentations and just using the different whatever medications that we used, that we tried to see what helped, and we're just going to put it out there so that anybody, I don't want it to happen to anybody, but freak accidents happen, and we're going to put it out there so people can see, like, what's the process, what are the steps, what to look for, what it looks like throughout 2-3 weeks, and yeah, we're just going to do that and post it and use and let whatever doctors want to use to see how it is as far as recovery process. And they're more than welcome to use it.
Go ahead.
Did you say your wife was 7.5 weeks pregnant right now?
No, she's 7.5 months pregnant. Yeah. So we're expecting a little boy. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully we'll have him, this bye week. That's kind of like the plan that we have going forward.
Do you guys do you cook often? And
Yeah.
are you still cool with going?
Yeah. It's like I said, it was a freak accident. And then the crazy part about it was the pot was brand new, and we had washed, and you take the proper steps as you always do. You wash the pot, clean it, put whatever you're gonna do, and put it on the stove. So it was literally, that's why I said, I think it was meant to happen because I had to be used, and God used people in mysterious ways. You never know, how He wants to use you. So you just have to be humble enough to, to, even though the situation that happened, you have to be able to stand firm on what it is that you believe in, and just try to open your eyes and being able to be used.
You mentioned talking to people you would have talked to maybe before the circumstance. Who were those people and what were those conversations like?
I'm gonna say that one more time.
Just you mentioned earlier that you talked to people, interacted with people that you wouldn't have if you wouldn't have gone through this. Who were those people and what were those conversations like?
Well, I don't want to really release their names just because that's their own personal thing that they were going through. They had things that had transpired in their life where they kind of walked away from the faith. And them seeing me go through things and have the perspective that I had, we had conversation. I gave books like More Than a Carpenter, Purpose-Driven Life. And those are 2 books that really helped me in my faith. I gave tons of those books out. It was crazy. I bought 30 copies of those books during training camp. I gave 20 of them out to my teammates alone. And then I met people from around within the building and outside, from the people that I met, outside of here when this situation happened, that I was able to give those books and insight on too. And I think it helped them a lot, opened them up. It allowed them to open up their minds a lot and to see things through a different light. And I think, like I said, I think that's what I was meant for in that time and in that moment. So, yeah, from a football perspective, you're like, oh, man, you can't really say that. No, and I'm a firm believer in God and Jesus Christ. And I believe in, the Holy Spirit. And they, have their plans. I have my own plans. But as long as that they're aligned with theirs, then I'll be all right and I'll be where I need to be.
Antonio, what did you say you were cooking? What was it?
I didn't get to cook anything. I was getting ready to cook shrimp, and it was just the grease in the pot alone, and it just
Something you've done before.
something I've done hundreds of times.
Antonio, I saw you walk in here barefoot. Is it still bothersome to put on cleats, or you mostly walk around barefoot?
So my skin on my feet is 100% healed. Everything is healed. Only thing now is the skin is very new. So I blister a little bit, like if you wear kind of expensive shoes or even a cheap pair of shoes and they rub up against your heel a lot, you get that little water bump. So it's just like, your skin trying to protect itself. So you get those little water bumps, and then over time that'll go away just because the skin is thickening and the pigment has already started coming back as well. So even if it doesn't, I don't care. As long as my feet are healed, that's all I care about. I don't care about the looks, but I might try to get into foot modeling after this is over with.
Did your daughters ever see your feet when they were bad? Did they have any funny reactions?
No, so I hid them from them because I didn't like them to see me in that dark place. So I did my best. We did our best as far as keeping garments and keeping the doors and stuff locked whenever I had to go through that time, because it took an hour for me to take a shower and to clean my garments and to put cream and to wrap and do all of that. And so I didn't let them see it at first, but after about 3 weeks, I would say, where I got to the point where I was walking good. So then I was like, okay, and I understood my purpose, and I opened my mind. I said, okay, it's a teachable moment. Let me show them. Look, this is what happened to Daddy's feet. This is why you don't play around in the kitchen, and this is why when you see X, Y, and Z, you stay away from it. And so it became a teachable moment for me as a parent, teaching my kids just different things like that.
What was the name of that book? The book that you said you bought?
Oh, More Than a Carpenter, and then Purpose-Driven Life. Mm-hmm.
Having gone through this, does this just give you a new perspective as you play the game that you love every Sunday?
Yeah. Like I said, I have the ultimate gratitude, like just from being, named the starting corner, whatever you want to call it, and just being out there on the field to all just being taken away in 30 seconds, like literally 30 seconds. That's the time that it took. And my mind was just still scrambling along when the time came, and I just didn't realize until I couldn't walk no more, and it all just fell on me all at once. And it was like, man, it was all gone. Like, as far as in my mind, and then from what the doctors were telling me. But the best thing about all of it was I had a great off season as far as before training camp, talking about me training beforehand. So my body being in shape and having some type of health about yourself is very beneficial to recovering from burns, because like it just allows your body to heal. It's amazing what the body can do, number one, because when the doctor seen my feet, and week by week by week, it was like, man, your feet are just healing like so fast. And then that was encouraging to me. So I was trying to do everything that I could as far as taking different vitamins and having more of a sense of urgency and sense of being deliberate in what it was that I was putting in my body, because I wanted everything to heal properly. And I'm here now, and 6 weeks removed from what had happened, and I'm just as healthy now as I was before I had this incident.
Was there any part of you that didn't think you'd play again?
Yes, for sure. Like I said, the place of uncertainty. I didn't know what was going to happen after I got burned. I was naive to it. I'm very ignorant to it. So I was thinking like, oh man, how they were telling me about, with the grease stays hot for a long period of time. So even though it doesn't look like it's doing anything, the grease or whatever it is that got on you, it will continue to burn up to 2 to 3 days. So at first they diagnosed it as second-degree burns, but they said, hey, it could be third degree, and if third degree comes, you got to do skin grafting and this, and you could lose, all sense of feeling in your feet. So I had very deep second-degree burns, and a few spots were third degree, but like I said, I'm healthy. So the second-degree burns that healed, the third-degree burns, they fell in line, just by default, and yeah. So I thought the worst out there had happened, and after the week, like if you go, and I don't know if you guys got Instagram or Twitter or whatever, my wife made a post, and just to show like a little bit of the glimpse of the timeline of things. Like the first week was okay, the second week was total hell. Like I couldn't eat. I was going like I lost so much weight. I have a picture of my leg that you would think that, I was in a third world country where I hadn't had any food to eat for a while, because I just lost so much muscle density that fast from not being able to walk and use my toes and just to feel the ground, what I'm saying? And that's just having, like, even just thinking about it, like, man, just having the gratitude to even put my feet on the ground. Like, so you see me walking around here barefoot because it's just, I get to. It's a lot of people that don't get to. They don't get to put their feet on the ground. Some people, had to have their stuff amputated. And so it's just like, man, I get to do it again. And so those small things of being able to just wash my feet, just to rub my feet and put lotion on, like, that's a big win to me. Like, because I couldn't. Like, I could barely touch my feet without feeling like I needed to tear down the house, like, because of the place that I was in. So, man, I'm just, like I said, I'm extremely thankful for it all.
With the loss of weight and all that, not eating, at what point were you able to then begin at least working out to even get back into anything close to football?
Yeah, so, really, about 2 weeks ago, I've only been able to work out 3 days a week for like 20 minutes outside. So this Sunday was my first real like workout type of action for the last 6 weeks. And I mean, you go back and check the tape, you wouldn't have necessarily thought. I mean, in my eyes, in my point of view, you wouldn't have thought that I missed 6 weeks. But inside, and when I hit that sideline after getting off a punt, I felt like I was dying. I was like, ugh. Just trying to pour water all over my face, all over my body. Like, Ham, you all right? Yeah, I'm be all right. I'm be all right. But right now, yeah, I was struggling, but I made it through, man. It was a great test, and it felt good. Like I said, man, it felt so good just to get back out there and do it all over again. And, you know, just taking every play, every rep, every second of it, you know, and being thankful for it.
Are you having to do anything differently in terms of socks or recovery, anything like that?
So at first, I had these special type of garments that were made, a lot of burn. You may see some people with them. Some people have like this like vanilla-looking ones where they weren't wear it, and mine's had this silicone topping to protect the top part of my skin. But recently, the last visit I had, the doctors like the way that my feet had healed. It didn't look like so you have collagen fibers that help to restore the skin. It didn't look like my collagen fibers were bundled up, because when that happens, it looks like knotty on the skin, like you have, like when you scab, like, you know how you get that big scab? My feet weren't healing like that. So those type of garments were really made for, to help, you know, relieve that, and they have a certain amount of pressure and some built-in type of substance to help recover from that. But I haven't needed them. I wore them for like the first 2 weeks that I got them, but then they started giving me problems. They were giving me a lot of blisters because of the seams between my toes, and they were kind of uncomfortable. But the doctor said, you know, if you feel like you can work your way off of them, and where you feel comfortable enough where you don't have to wear them, you may get extra blisters, but you know, it comes with it. So I haven't been wearing them the last week, so I did good in the game. I didn't sustain any extra blisters or anything like that. So, yeah, those were the only things extra that I had to wear, that I was told to wear, that I no longer have to essentially wear.
How were your teammates during that? And does anyone stand out in terms of anybody do anything above and beyond for you during that time?
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of the guys hit me up, of course, giving me words of encouragement, you know, but it was just, I'm not, I guess you could say, needy type of person. I'm very independent. And so, of course, if they be like, hey, man, let me know if anything I can do, I'm not going to let you know that. Just because I'm so used to handling things on my own. And like I said, I had to depend on my wife. And so even for me having to ask my wife to do anything, I felt less than, you know, but that's a part of, you know, marriage. And that helped me in my marriage to know that we are one, we work together. That's my partner in everything that we do. And so for me to have to legitimately rely on her for everything, literally everything, it helped us. I grew in a better way, and I'm a better person from this situation.
Antonio, thank you. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
How you doing today? It seemed like you were cramping up maybe a little bit in that second half, or struggling a little bit yourself.
I'm doing quite well. I was just like my left calf was cramping. I think it was the leg sleeves that I had on.
Did you feel pressure, though, I mean, all your other fellow running backs were dropping, you didn't really have much choice but to be out there, right?
Yeah, but just the way the game was flowing, I didn't really realize things until I started asking, like, where are certain people at when I didn't see them anymore. And then that's when they were kind of telling me that things were going down, and I was the one, and I had to keep pushing.
This was the offseason we heard from the coaching staff just seeing the leap mostly mentally from you. So the fact that you were able to carry that load, I mean, how validating is that you proved that you could handle something like that?
Well, I've always been confident that I could do such a thing. I did it in college, I did it in high school. So I was kind of comfortable in the situation and just pressing forward.
How frustrating was that loss yesterday?
It was definitely a tough loss. That's a nail-biting game that I thought we could have pulled out, especially if we went to overtime. But that's just the way that things flowed. We just got to go back, watch the film, and get it corrected.
Is there a reason why this team has lost 8 straight at home?
Is there a reason? I'm not sure. Other than I think we just gotta keep getting better. I think there's just times where you look back and there's 4 or 5 plays where you think, or you wish you could have did something different, or anything like that. It changes the game. Everyone could have made plays. I could have ran a little bit harder. Someone could have made a different block and stuff like that. So I think just looking at it and going forward, we've got to correct those things.
Do you guys come out of a game like that optimistic because you played better and you played an undefeated team and it was close, or is that one of those things where it's like, no, it's about wins and losses and the rest of it?
I think you look at that game and you see the way we compete in every game, and you definitely think, okay, yeah, we're in this good situation going into the fourth quarter and stuff like that. I think we held our own. Doesn't matter the opponent. I think that's just what we're going to come out there and do every week, and that's what I know. That's our what's expected for us.
I mean, you don't know the situation with the injuries, obviously, but I'm curious what kind of progress Keontae has made, if at some point he might have to be active for whatever reason?
He looks good out there at practice, catching the ball, running the ball. He gives us a good look for our defense and whatnot. Getting out there. And shoot, I'm even still learning from Keontae. Never could stop learning. I think he's a really good bat.
Thanks, Ito.
Yeah.